K-pop was suddenly rocked by rumors of a leaked secret file, purportedly a new solo song by Kim Taehyung. Initially, many thought it was just seasonal gossip, a common occurrence when an artist is on hiatus due to military service. But within hours, the issue escalated from mere whispers to major news, sweeping across platforms, from Twitter/X, Weverse, TikTok, and even international forums. What was most surprising wasn't just the alleged file leak, but its direct connection to a secret HYBE project that had previously been unknown to the public. Inside sources reported that HYBE was working on a large-scale program related to the comeback of all BTS members after their military service. This project was reportedly internally codenamed Vsequence, a long-term plan that would prepare for BTS's new era after 2025. And according to several people familiar with the company's internal structure, the leaked V solo song was no ordinary song. It wasn't just a demo, nor a draft, but rather part of a larger puzzle designed to launch Taehyung's next phase once he was discharged. This is where things get even more interesting. This leak occurred just days after HYBE tightened its digital security system. They had recently upgraded their internal firewall, updated their employee access management, and implemented new encryption on their music servers. But strangely, the leak occurred even after that. This gave rise to wild speculation that the perpetrator wasn't an outsider, but rather someone with intimate knowledge of HYBE's internal workings. The army was divided. Some believed this was simply the work of an individual seeking to profit by selling files or generating hype. Others were convinced it was part of a larger sabotage, perhaps related to industry competition, pressure from other groups, or even unseen internal conflicts. But what made matters even more heated was the fact that the files in circulation displayed Taehyung's signature characteristics, a soft voice, a cinematic style, and a tone perfectly suited to his musical style. It was as if the leak wasn't just a song, but a glimpse into the future of his solo career. HYBE responded swiftly. They deployed a digital security team, conducted a 24/7 system audit, temporarily blocked access for several employees, and contacted partners who held production files. This usually doesn't happen unless the situation is extremely serious. Some Korean media outlets even reported that the company had activated a special protocol, used only when there's a risk of a data leak involving an A-list artist. And after an initial investigation, a new fact emerged that made things even crazier. The leaked files apparently related to an early version of Taehyung's visual project. This meant it wasn't just a song that was leaked, it was the artistic concept that was supposed to be a huge surprise for fans worldwide. This explains why HYBE seemed so defensive and cautious in its statements. They knew that a concept leak could ruin the entire comeback strategy for an artist as big as BTS's V. Many are asking, why was Taehyung targeted? Why not another member? The answer is likely simple but sensitive. From 2023 to 2025, V was one of HYBE's most stable artists in terms of brand, most consistent in global popularity, and with the strongest engagement. His first solo song became a new icon in the music world, his fashion projects consistently went viral, and every small move could dominate the trending charts within minutes. In other words, touching Taehyung's project meant touching a major HYBE asset. It didn't take long for armies to start connecting the dots. Many remembered that a few months ago, there were reports of an attempted hack into one of HYBE's storage systems. At the time, nothing was heard afterward, but now people are starting to wonder, was the attempt finally successful? Was this leak part of a long-running operation that's only now showing results? However, there's one major theory currently rocking the K-pop community. The leak allegedly occurred while HYBE's internal systems were undergoing integration for the Vsequence project. During that integration process, a security flaw was exposed. It was a tiny flaw, perhaps only a few minutes, but enough for the right person, with the right access, to access highly sensitive files. After the leak shook the public, the internal atmosphere at HYBE reportedly changed drastically. Several employees reported that the headquarters felt more tense than usual, as if a massive pressure had shut down the entire production floor. In fact, according to an unnamed source, there was a sudden order to replace the authentication system overnight, something that normally takes weeks. This signaled that HYBE truly viewed the leak of BTS V's solo song as a high-level threat, not just a minor incident. To make matters even more mysterious, several industry analysts discovered an unusual pattern. They noted that several digital activities related to Taehyung's project disappeared from HYBE's servers on the exact same date as the leak. This meant that it wasn't just the leaked files, some other files may have been intentionally deleted or hidden by someone. This point further fueled suspicions that the perpetrator wasn't just any individual, but someone with a deep understanding of how the system worked. The rumors intensified when reports emerged that HYBE had summoned one of its internal divisions for a 4-hour interrogation session in a special room. Several people reportedly emerged from the room with pale faces and speechless. Of course, HYBE never made an official statement about this, but employees who witnessed the office atmosphere firsthand said it was completely different from the usual, a far cry from the creative and relaxed work environment typical of entertainment companies. Meanwhile, outside, ARMY continued to work. They pieced together bits of information, correlating timestamps, examining the metadata of the leaked files, and even comparing the leaked audio to Taehyung's actual recordings. And that's where the revelation came to light. The song contained elements strikingly similar to a visual concept coded as Vsequence in a project list leaked in late 2024. Vsequence was an internal project purportedly containing a series of multimedia content for Taehyung's comeback, a short video, photography, teaser visuals, and a lead single. In other words, this leak wasn't just about the music, it touched on Taehyung's entire comeback blueprint. Media analysts began to ask, why wasn't a project of this magnitude officially announced? Why was all the information about it kept behind high-level encryption? Speculation arose that Rebirth Sequence and Vsequence were connected, and that both were part of BTS's 2025 to 2026 megaproject, the distribution of which was deliberately kept under wraps until the perfect time. If true, the leak of BTS's V solo song could disrupt the entire project's launch schedule. A perfect comeback requires time, strategy, and global coordination. Just one leaked file can disrupt plans, especially if it's the core material for Taehyung's concept visuals. However, shortly after the leak surfaced, an interesting detail emerged. On an international forum frequented by veteran K-pop fans, a user claimed that the leak wasn't an accident, but rather a warning. He claimed that someone intentionally leaked the file to reveal a significant flaw in HYBE's security system. The goal wasn't to bring Taehyung down, but to embarrass the company and expose its weaknesses. The post disappeared just hours after it was posted. His account vanished, and all traces of him vanished as if he never existed. But the public had already seen it, and the theory spread faster than any clarification HYBE could provide. And ironically, the more HYBE tried to calm the public, the more armies began to sense that something much bigger was being hidden. Many believed that this leak opened a new door, that HYBE might be facing a threat that not only targeted BTS as artists, but also targeted HYBE as an institution. HYBE was now at a critical juncture. They couldn't let this slide. On the one hand, they had to protect their company's reputation. On the other, they knew the public was already aware of a large-scale secret project. The question now was, would they keep the information even tighter, or would they hasten an official announcement to prevent rumors from spreading wildly? Whatever HYBE's decision, one thing was clear, the leak of BTS's V solo song had lifted a veil that should have been left untouched. And through that small crack, the world now had a glimpse of something far more monumental, something that could change the course of the Korean music industry for years to come.